This is something I've always wondered, but I knew it would take a lot of number crunching and note taking to figure out, and that is, how does Raider armor compare to leather armor? Well, I finally did my homework. Want to take a peek at my notes?
Yeah, sure, Slack. I want to see your notes. Yeah, let's see your notes, Slack. I didn't do my homework. Can I take a peek at your notes?
Alright, here we go.
MajorSlackVideos.
Yeah, this is fun.
Shut up, Pee-wee.
Okay.
Okay, for the first 9 or 10 levels in Fallout 4, you're going to be running into lots of Raider armor and lots of leather armor. You'll be selling most of it off, but naturally you want to keep some of it for your own personal protection. Which should you go with, Raider armor or leather armor? Well, I crunched the numbers and here are the results. First of all, some definitions. What I mean by Raider armor is the following 5 items of apparel. Raider chest piece, Raider arms, left and right, Raider legs, left and right. And what I mean by leather armor is the following 5 items of apparel. Leather chest piece, leather arms, left and right, leather legs, left and right. Default will refer to when the armor set is not modded in any way, shape, or form. Fully modded will refer to when the armor set is fully modded to offer the best ballistic and energy resistance using the Armorer Rank 1 perk. Alright, so in other words, you can use this tutorial to figure out exactly how to put together some kick-ass early game armor. Now, throughout this tutorial, both of these armor sets will be supplemented by the following 3 items. Number 1, the Army Helmet, which provides an extra 10 ballistic resistance. Number 2, the Military Fatigues, which provide an extra 5 energy resistance, plus 2 bonus points to your agility. Number 3, some X-ray glasses that allow you to see all female characters but naked.
Vault 81 Overseer.
Just kidding, just kidding. No, those were actually welding goggles, which give 1 bonus point to your perception attribute. Alright, moving right along, let's take a look at Raider armor. There we go. This ridiculously butt-ugly ensemble is commonly worn by low-class raiders throughout the Commonwealth. Along with the Army Helmet and Military Fatigues, it provides the user with 20 ballistic resistance and 13 energy resistance. Okay, that's the default version. And it weighs in at 25.3 pounds, and a full armor set can usually be cobbled together from the bloody remains of all the raiders he slaughtered in Concord during the Minuteman quest When Freedom Calls. Fully modded, that is with all pieces modded with the buttressed mod, the chest piece modded with asbestos lining, and all limbs modded with the strengthened mod, and worn with the Army Helmet and Military Fatigues, it provides the user with 44 ballistic resistance and 51 energy resistance. Alright? And it weighs in now at 46.8 pounds. That's right. The weight really increases when you start modding these suckers up. Now, some of the advantages of a fully modded Raider armor set. Number 1, if the user runs out of ammo for all his or her weapons, there's always the chance that, while reloading, the enemy might stop, catch a glimpse of your armor, and die laughing. Get a load of the armor this guy's wearing. Yeah, looks like a real loser. So are we gonna give him a break? Nah. But seriously, folks, the fully modded Raider armor requires almost the exact same number of components as fully modded leather armor, with one exception, and that is you don't need leather. Okay, that's a biggie. You don't need leather. Okay, a fully modded Raider armor set will require the following components: 37 adhesive, 20 screws, 6 asbestos, 6 ballistic fiber, and 20 plastic. Now, if you loot like a pack rat in heat, your only bottlenecks are probably going to be adhesive and ballistic fiber. More on that later. Some disadvantages of Raider armor. Number 1, Raider armor has much lower energy resistance than leather armor. So when the Molotovs start flying and that laser fire is lighting up the landscape, the bottom line is you're going to be much less equipped to take the heat. Alright. Number 2, Raider armor cannot be modded with the shadowed mod, making it a poor choice for pro stealth builds. Alright. The limbs will take muffled and the light build mods. but no shadowed. All right. So if you're gonna go with this sneaky character build, don't go with Raider. Now let's talk about leather armor. This much more attractive ensemble is commonly worn by slightly higher class raiders throughout the Commonwealth. Along with the army helmet and military fatigues, it provides the user with 19 ballistic resistance, only one less than its raider counterpart, and 31 energy resistance, more than double its raider counterpart. It weighs in at 19.3 pounds, 6 pounds lighter than the Raider default armor, and once again, a full armor set can usually be cobbled together from the bloody remains of all the Raiders you slaughtered in Concord during the Minuteman quest When Freedom Calls. When leather armor is fully modded, that is, with all pieces modded with the studded mod, the chest piece modded with the asbestos lining, and all limbs modded with the strengthened mod, which will help guard against crippling of your limbs. And this is all worn with the army helmet and the military fatigues. It provides the user with 43 ballistic resistance, which is just one less than its Raider counterpart, all right? And a whopping 80 energy resistance, all right? So with only slightly lower ballistic resistance and a huge increase in energy resistance, the obvious choice of proper attire for every aspiring young wastelander is, drum roll please, leather armor. Yeah, leather armor is the winner for sure. By far, leather armor is the winner. The list of components required to cobble up a fully modded set of leather armor also includes a big batch of leather. Okay, that's the kicker. It requires that you get some leather together. 32 leather to be exact. Along with 36 adhesive, 20 screws, 6 asbestos, 6 ballistic fiber, and 20 plastic. Now, where do you get all the stuff you need to mod up your cool, sexy leather armor suit? Well, here are some detailed step-by-step instructions on how to properly hunt for loot in Fallout 4. Step 1. Loot everything. Period. That's it. That's the entire lesson. One thing you can do to make looting a lot easier is to use the tag for search feature. So if you're looting for leather armor mods, go to your workshop, empty out all your junk into the workshop, and then take back out the following items: a coffee pot or extinguisher, a globe, and some duct tape. All right, take out those 3 items, then go to the junk section of your inventory. Press the components view button and highlight each of the following items and press tag for search. All right, these items are adhesive, asbestos, plastic, and screw. All right, now this will place a special magnifying glass thingy next to the tagged component. Now whenever you're out there in a wasteland and you happen upon some junk that contains one of those tagged components, that piece of junk will have a magic magnifying glass thingy beside it, basically telling you, pick up this junk. All right. Now, when looting for leather armor modding, the components you're most likely to come up short on are adhesive, leather, and ballistic fiber, possibly screws, but if you loot well, that should be no problem either. Let's start with adhesive. In case you didn't know, you can always craft adhesive by going to the cooking station and cooking up some vegetable starch. All right? Each vegetable starch breaks down into 5 adhesive. Yeah, just like that, yeah. And the ingredients to make vegetable starch are 3 corn, 3 mute fruit, 3 potato, and 1 purified water. After completing the When Freedom Calls quest and all the Minutemen are back in Sanctuary, you can set yourself up nicely for an endless supply of adhesive by simply building the right things during the Sanctuary settlement tutorial quests you get from speaking to Sturgis. When he asks you to provide water for the settlers, build a water purifier, and boom, there's a steady supply of purified water. When he asks you to plant food, visit Abernathy Farm and collect a whole bunch of potato there. Then fast travel to the Museum of Freedom, travel south down the road past the Drumlin Diner and turn right at the train tracks. Follow the train tracks all the way south until you hit the robot managed greenhouse called Grey Garden. Harvest a whole bunch of mute fruit and some corn there, and you now have all the components to craft adhesive. If you go back to Sanctuary and plant a patch of corn, you'll be set up nicely to whip up some adhesive anytime you like by simply making a little tour from Abernathy Farm to Grey Garden and then back home to harvest your corn, and boom, you got all the components you need to whip up adhesive anytime you like. All right. Next, leather. How to get leather. You can always hunt for leather, okay? Most animals, especially rad stags, will randomly yield animal hides when you kill them. These animal hides will break down into leather. However, hunting can be tedious. You can also scrap spare leather armor pieces for leather. Just put those pieces on board, go into the crafting section of your armor workbench, and you can scrap spare pieces of leather armor into leather. There are some items that actually don't show up in the armor workbench because they can't be modded, but these can also be scrapped into leather if you just drop them on the ground and then use the workshop mode to scrap them, and that will also scrap them into leather, such as Raider leathers. All right, that's an example. If you just want to like apply the KISS principle to getting leather, that is, keep it simple, stupid, go see Connie Abernathy at the Abernathy farm and buy a shipment of leather, okay? This is 25 leather, boom, all in one batch, and you just have to pay her money and she gives it to you, okay? This is going to cost you a pretty penny, but you can bring the price down a lot by simply wearing items of clothing that give bonuses to your charisma. You typically find at least one item rendering a 2-point bonus to your charisma when you loot Sanctuary, usually some kind of like suit, like a clean tan suit or a t-shirt and slacks combo like in this video, or something like that. And if you get really stuck, you can always wear a dress. Hey, business is business, all right? Yeah. And you can also bump up your charisma by taking a drug called grape mentats, okay? And drinking a beer, any kind of beer, like a Gwyneth Stout or just like, you know, sometimes it's just called a beer, but you know, any kind of beer like substance, drink a beer, take a grape mentats, and that'll bump up your charisma a lot. There's always 3 beers in the root cellar behind this house in Sanctuary. You did know about this root cellar, right? You didn't? Oh, well, you do now. And conveniently enough, most everything you need to cook grape mentats is found just west of Abernathy Farm, namely hub flowers and a bottle of whiskey in this shack here. So what you could do is put on your business suit, bring some mentats, okay, something which you should have collected at least one of somewhere in your travels by now. Bring a beer and bring a whole bunch of stuff you want to sell. Fast travel to the Red Rocket truck stop and pick up the charisma boosting black rim glasses in the mole rat den to the south. Then hike on over to Abernathy Farm. Go down, get the hub flower, then get the whiskey in the little shack, come back to the farm and use their chemistry station to cook up some grape mentats. Then eat the grape mentats, wash it down with a beer, and this will give a huge bump to your charisma, making everything you buy cheaper and everything you sell worth more money. All right? Then go see Connie Abernathy and take care of business. That is, sell everything you want to sell and buy the shipment of 25 leather offer. All right? Boom. After all that price dropping and bartering, you'll probably get the shipment of leather for free. And finally, ballistic fiber. I won't lie to you, ballistic fiber is a bitch. There's only 2 junk items I know of that yield ballistic fiber. One is military grade duct tape and the other one is a military ammo bag. The second of which I'm not even sure you can find out in the wasteland. I've never found it. But you can find military grade duct tape at military installations such as the Cambridge Police Station or the USAF Satellite Station Array, or any, you know, Fort Hagen. All these, you know, military stations or locations rather have military grade duct tape somewhere in there. You're probably better off just trying to buy it in the junk menu of any vendor such as Trash Can Carla or Trudy at the Drumlin Diner, or when you finally get down to Diamond City Market, check all the vendors there, especially Becky Fallon in Fallon's Basement. She often has a military ammo bag for sale. Striking out on all that, what you can do is you could buy a shipment of ballistic fiber from Cleo at Good Neighbor. How do you find Good Neighbor? Okay, wait a minute. Just before I proceed with that, spoiler alert. So you haven't got this far in the story. What follows may be a bit of a spoiler. When you get to Diamond City Market and you're tasked with finding information about your son, the sole survivor's son, you eventually get sent to Nick's detective agency. In Nick's detective agency is a woman called Ellie. When you speak to Ellie, make sure you ask her about Skinny Malone.
Who's this Skinny Malone character.
Once you ask her about Skinny Malone, she'll tell you about Good Neighbor. Then ask her about Good Neighbor, and Good Neighbor will be marked on your map. That way you can find it easily. So just make your way up to Good Neighbor, go in and talk to the robot vendor called Cleo, and Cleo will sell you a shipment of ballistic fiber. It's going to cost you a pretty penny once again, but you know the routine. Put on your business suit, take some great mentats, guzzle back a beer, and the price is going to drop dramatically. All right, so there you go. Now, how about the Army helmet and the military fatigues? The Army helmet can always be acquired in this wrecked military APC just southwest of Sanctuary. It's just a hop, a skip, and a jump away. Just go on down there, traipse through the stream. It's a bit of, you will take some rads acquiring it, but it's always there. An Army helmet is always there, guaranteed. And military fatigues, once again, guaranteed spawn, can always be found in the back storeroom of the Cambridge police station. This is just southeast of Grey Garden. It's just like just down that road there, and you'll bump into the Cambridge police station. And if that's your first time there, you're going to get into a firefight with a whole bunch of feral ghouls and help out the Brotherhood of Steel, after which you can speak to Paladin Dance and join the Brotherhood of Steel, and then you'll get led into the Cambridge police station, and then you can loot the Cambridge police station and pick up the military fatigues. So there you go. There's how to whip up a fully modded, fireproof, kick-ass leather armor set. A great set of early game armor. The character you see sporting this armor here in this video is a level 7 character. Yes, this is all very doable early in the game. So there you go. Raider versus leather armor. Thanks a lot for watching, and if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel for more kick-ass Fallout 4 videos. Alright, my name is Major Slack, and I am out of here.